We see this in the movie Legends with a prince and a princess, right? Now, she always has a lyre and a moon or a sun, and this is supposed to be in the Tabernacle and the Stars, Psalm 19. Now, how many times can we see that para? Can I prove that here is what we need to know. What's that right there? Pegasus. And we're going to look for the female with the lyre on her head, with the moon and the sun coming through. And then we'll see the male Aquila. Those are the law icons. That's why they're so important. We can find the Aquila there in Japan. Just look for the double-headed eagle on YouTube. Why is our heraldry all the same? It's all the same because these are supposed to match the Ark of the Covenant, coins, money, commercial songs, music, movies. The Tabernacle and the Stars, the two in the Holy of Holies, the Queen and the King of the King's Chamber, Pi Phi, A, B, secondaries, Ezekiel 1, White Castle line, Alpha, Omega, Meister Singer, Weissen, which is Burger, White Castle, Gatekeepers, Prophetic, Prophet, Prophetess. You got it? That's what that template is right there. And we can find it over and over and over. That's why we have the Eclipse gum, and we have cars like Equinox, Chevy, and we see that the Draco's right there always chasing the woman into the desert. You know, that's when they're falling down into the west, and we don't really know that aspect because even though there's this, we have no knowledge of that. It's only really, people are only pointing at that. Of course, they've been showing us this, you know, in the news and, you know, with Madonna and what was that other one, Beyonce and stuff. One time they'll have a sunburst. The next time they'll use wings. Or they'll put two people inside of a lyre. Or they'll have a trumpet falling on a male in the Book of Life. And a guitar crashing. It's always there. It's in the Elton John where the girl stands up and she has to sing. And Elton John's dressed like a gay queen. And she comes up and she sings and he falls through the floor and instruments fall on him, drums and a string instrument. It's in all those movies, Legion, Legends. So anyhow, End of Days, Alpha and Omega, it just goes on and on. And so these are positions for the First Lady and the Presider. And we're looking for the Trump person who's already written in the stars, the Mazzaroth and the Torah, because that's already lined up in the West. Now, if we don't know that, and we don't know this simple way of matching, then we're already outside of the Unicode, which means most everything we do in the esoteric realm, which first and foremost is familia, then we'd be completely wrong. I'm not jeering at it. I'm saying that's the problem, you see. That's the difference between the breeding and the union of a procreation, such as the patriarchal lines. And this is what's going on. So some people are finding it probably naturally because of how they live. It's following those commandments. Because in order to avoid that, you have to avoid adulterating words, false witnessing. You know, God has to be first. You have to know yourself, and then the men get the charge. So there's a whole different set of rules in betrothal, and we don't know that in America. That's why we don't know what that is. Okay? And so we can see if we go into the Torah codes with the 308,000 letters of the Torah, you know, times 308,000 place markers, we're going to come up with so many different combinations. And people are using even Revelation. We don't want to use anything but the Torah. Everything should be in there. So even they're going to make this person's with the same thing. It's always the same characteristics. Now, one moment. Please, one moment. And so let's go ahead and start here because I want to see if we can push through something that explains exactly what I just said, okay? This is important because that's the Lyra, Tabernacles in the Stars. In it, he had placed the tabernacle for the sun, S-U-N or S-O-N. And that would be the Aquila with the unseen arrow, the avatar. If you look at the children's show, they put an arrow on his head, clearly showing you the arrows of a Sagitta. And this season comes after the Delphinius. So this tells us that we're already in the age of Aquarius. We're not looking for the dawn of Aquarius anymore. See, this one here, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. You see that Aleph right here. We're going to see a bait, Aleph, and then you see it's in reverse, Aleph and bait, and here. So now we have time traversing. And once we start sticking this on the megaliths, we can go back a billion years. God's saying he's writing his name on these. Doesn't matter if it's 10 billion years, 6,000, because 6,000 is this age. But in Jeremiah, it does say God flips over the earth, blocks out the sun, everything is destroyed. And that is not the story of Noah. So we can go into the Bible and the Tanakh and find in here in prophecy what really happened if it's not, preset here. So that's why I go in through Psalm 19 before reading Genesis, because if you go in here before reading Genesis, it's a completely different picture, because we're going from end, because God says he knows the end from the beginning and the beginning from the end. So technically all we have to do is line these markers up with the name etymologies, and anybody who rules or governs over these is automatically out. Bye-bye. And that's God's safeguard. That's why it says, we're the insurance of the earth in Hancock. She says it, don't you know we're two angels? There's none like us. See the branch, the lyra, and the arrows of Aquila. And we clearly see the moon cycles, right, folks? Sun cycle, moon cycle, eclipse, and you even see it's even shaped in a Lear sense. You see it comes in from the pi below and then the phi. All right, telling us clearly that's in the tabernacle and the stars. It doesn't matter what we learned; it's what you can learn on your own. See, so that's not a sun goddess. We got to take the word goddess off. It's an archetypal. These are archetypal markings. And she's supposed to be a prophetess, whatever that goes to. A female Mashiach, which is Omega. Some people call her the Queen of Heaven. And says right here, prophecy written by God into their name. So it's not a matter of, of choice for the person who's talking right now. It's a matter of what was set up by whoever set these up, which would be our creator. And that's why we'll find that on Iran flag. We'll find it in Kazakhstan. Yeah, we'll find it in Kazakhstan with the pyramid and the female, Mashika. That's the archetypal male, Daniel 12, Daniel 10:21. He's always the gatekeeper, Ezekiel 44. Got it? This is his Leta and his Akoma on the Sky City, New Mashika. Definitely an A and B tribe marking in Sky City. Big open dome, and then we have the Alberca city right next to it. And so we have mappings in the United States where CIA just came out saying that they've also mapped out part of our country in this theme. That's why we see it in movies, cartoons, New Mexico. They put it right in front of everybody. Could you imagine coming out of church and seeing that in front of you in 2017 and knowing that happened in 2014 and 2015 in church, and we're all pointing forward? Mr. Obama's name was one falling like lightning from the heights, but somebody named him that. And the wealthy people are the ones who walk in the Michael the Archangel, and they do it because they know no one can figure out that ensign by phonetics worldwide and the Torah. Checkmate! See, because it's everywhere. And it goes to this guy, whoever he is. See, yeah, we got that theme going there. You see, so it's a matter of learning. And what they did was they gave us all sorts of sciences to get, started within school, phonetics, reading, alphabet, and everything. And we have to know the main roots. And we also have a lir and a pira in the back of our head. And we're missing the capstone, which should be found by Paranomasia and the people who have their names written in that. The Columbide lady and the male Hamashiach Aleph secondary, Ezekiel 1 para. There it is. Peace. See, that's what the Columbide goes into Columbia, Lady, Liberty, Athena. It's all of those characters, including Isis. You see the sunburst. So they clearly are looking for the person who knows how to figure this out on his own. because that will show that God is directing him. Because we don't have a Trump, we don't have the Trump in there. We have a Trump in there. And that concerns me. Because this guy's been seen for 5 years in the Torah codes. Where's he at? Mr. Obama stood under that. His name was the different name, opposite name of that, in 2009. It is now 8 years past that point. So when people are making comments on the people who are there, they're clearly failed because they're all cheering for the guy who was there for 8 years, who we gave the rainbow to in an abominable sense, an abominable manner. So I'm looking for the person, only one. If there is a female that matches that, she would have to do it on her own. Individuals have no authority to waive their own immunity. Oh, that changes everything. That means possibly the male and female will have to stand no matter who they're, what they do. You see, this is the alberca. When you have a repeating QUE, you remove the matching ones and you're left, that's constructive language. You don't need the doubles in there for the roots. Okay, here's the listings of the gatekeepers for the Ark of the Covenant, the treasures, announcing the king within. It's just too much, you see. So when a person says, I'm a gatekeeper, I'm a gatekeeper, I'm a gatekeeper, we just have to go to their last name, find out if it transposes to that, and if it's not, we just simply put them on the sidelines, and it's that simple. So anyway, there's our Aquila and Lyra, our Horus, and Isis, our Ra, and Isis, and Athena, and Diana. And these are supposed to be transposed into human beings who have a right, which are going to prove the rest of humanity from eternity. It's going to open up the book of life. The people who don't belong on earth are going to be removed. The people who blotted themselves out will probably end up in what you call a everlasting contempt situation. However, many of them will gladly serve the king, to spare their own lives. Okay, and that's how we're going to straighten up the world. God's presence has to come because God has to back this person up with that authority to do so through the heel. Genesis 3:15. Hey, you can laugh all you want, baby. I was even born in San Gabriel Archangel Mission Hospital, doorway to King's Highway. And that's that famous warrior. You go up to St. Louis and you'll find an archetypal arch in St. Louis. And what I just told you is absolutely self-evident. There's no way around it. That's worldwide, universally worldwide. And if we go back and we check in Rabbi Glazerson's code searches, we'll find when somebody was here in New Mexico, the same time he extracted the Mexica in New Mexico, or that connection. That's fascinating. And then after a person went on trailing about 1,800 miles total of roads, he came back and he got stuck right in the center of that by names, because our lexicography is attached to the moon and the sun. It's not a moon god. It's not a sun god. It's the perspective that needs to be taught, allowing God's perspective back in. You see, White Castle, Aquila, Lyra, the 3 stars, the queen bee. That's the connection, and no one can tell me that I'm wrong. Gatekeeper, famous warrior who is like God. He already has the scepter, the face of the eagle, the leg injury, the 2 sticks. It goes on and on. Dalet line. It has to be the gatekeeper line to have the prince substantive title. Ezekiel 44, the prince at the gate. And they say, you will find him at the gates of Rome. And what will you find at the gates of Rome? A Roman gatekeeper. Thank God. I mean, I'm excited because I know there's somebody out there that matches that Mashika. Face of the eagle, that's a para. So you're going to have to start to think in a para sense, and probably learn to think in 100 steps, not just 1, 2, 3, and that guy's wrong. You got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. You got to connect all those things, because there they are. The stars of the show, the celestials, the transposings, and that's going to scare the hell out of a lot of people, because no one's expecting that. No one's expecting that. B, transposable Greek. That's not a good shot of it there, but so we're looking for a community servant, and I'm almost out of time. Thanks for joining me. There's the seal of the United States for the Malak. Peace. Shalom. Have a good day.